Okay, I make it 10 UTC, so I'd like to get started promptly. So welcome everyone to the Strengthening Early Warning in Africa networking session. My name's Katie. I'll be guiding you through the session today. And you're all here because you submitted an expression of interest for the SEWA regional pilots. So thank you so much for doing that. And really thank you for participating in the session today, and especially to those of you that are going to present for us. So we've got a really packed session for you today. Hopefully we can run through it quite slickly. Before we get going, to say the meeting will be recorded. We will share that recording with you afterwards. Okay, so in terms of agenda, we'll start off with an introduction from us at ECMWF. We've got some useful bits of information for you, and my colleague Carolyn will also give you an overview of the scoping study. After that, we'll have some presentations from the regional climate centres, and we'll have the lightning presentations from those of you who said you might be interested in leading a consortium. In terms of those two sets of presentations, you'll find in the chat there's two files with the order of the presentations. If you're presenting, it might be useful to have that and to know who's coming before you so you know when it's going to be your turn. At the end, hopefully we'll have time for a few questions and answers for ECMWF. And then finally, just to say, we'll share all the slides as well as that recording after the meeting. Right, so I know many of you will have seen this before, but I think it's useful just to kick off with a bit of an introduction to ECMWF. So ECMWF is an intergovernmental organisation. We have 23 member states and 12 cooperating states and over 500 staff. We're split across 3 offices in Reading, Bonn and Bologna. So we operate a 24/7 operational service. So many of you will have used the data that we output from our numerical weather prediction models. And we do this really in support of national weather services as well as global research institutes and businesses globally. You think it's worth just to pause a minute and really re-emphasize that support to national weather services. We're really there to help them in their mandates of, for example, issuing early warnings, but not to do that. We support them. We conduct research and innovation. So on those models and others, we continuously run experiments to improve the models. We produce reforecast and climate reanalysis. Again, many of you will have used that data. And many of you will also know that we have a large program on AI and machine learning. So we have the AIFS, the Anemoy and Forecast in a Box, which you may have heard of. I think something else that's worth just saying now, in case people don't know, is that ECMWF has an open data policy. A lot of our data is also, a large subset of that is open and free. If you want to take a look at that, when the slides go out, the bottom link on this slide will take you to the open data roadmap for ECMWF. Okay, so we are also heavily involved in Copernicus. We run the C3S and CAMS services, and we also support the JRC on the Copernicus Emergency Management Service. We're also involved in Destination Earth. Okay, so lastly, but of course not least, because this is the thing you've joined for and that you're interested in, under the Global Gateway of the European Union, we are running the SEWA project jointly with EUMETSAT and the African Union Commission. So SEWA sits under the African EU Space Partnership Programme. Something that you'll hear me say a lot throughout this presentation, and it comes from the EU Africa EU Space Partnership Programme, is that the core of what they're doing and what we're doing in SEWA is really African European partnership and strategic cooperation between African and European institutions and communities. It's really important. So SEWA is a response to component 2 of the African EU Space Partnership Programme, and that's really focused on strengthening early warning. If you want to know more about the background to SEWA, the top link at the bottom of the page will take you to our SEWA page, and also you'll find there the SEWA grants portal, which will be useful for you, and other information and news. Lastly, to mention something you'll probably be hearing more about in the coming weeks and months is the African Regional Centres of Excellence, so ARC-X, which is also under the Global Gateway Partnerships, and that's on climate change resilience. So keep an eye out for more on that. Okay, so again, I think lots of you will have interacted with many of us already. I've certainly had some good interactions with people, but I think it's useful to just put up the faces of the ECNWF SEWA team here so you know who we are. So we have Stein, he's the head of partnership and engagement section. Carolyn, she's the SEWA partnership management and training specialist. Wolters is our data and cloud support specialist. Laura is our senior grants specialist, and myself, Katie, I'm the scientific officer on SEWA. I'll also be the technical officer on the 4 grants for regional pilots, so probably you'll be seeing the most of me in the context of those grants. So I think before we get really into the meat of this introduction, I want to say a few things about the purpose of the session. The core of what we're here to do today is networking, and this goes back to that Africa-European Space Partnership Programme, and what we want to do is enhance peer-to-peer African-European partnerships. So what we're trying to do here is give you a platform to form those partnerships, firstly in the context of preparing consortia ahead of the call for proposals on the regional pilots, but also I really hope this will be useful to you beyond that. We will give you some other useful information that we have available to us at this time. So I'll give a timeline of the next steps for the SEWA grants. We will reiterate some information on consortia, which has largely already been shared. We have some newly available information that we want to share with you guys. So that's on the funding structure for the grants. Laura will briefly introduce that. I'll give you an overview of the expression of interest responses. Wolters will give you some useful information on cloud computing and data feeds, and then Carolyn will give an overview of the scoping study. At this point, I do just want to do a little bit of expectation management. So there are things that we can't do at the moment. We can't provide detail on the scope of the call for grants right now. This point, I know the hazards sorry, could you unmute your microphones, please? I know the hazards are a really important component of this for everybody, but we can't tell you the final hazards right now because we're still finalising that. Ditto for the next point, we can't tell you the exact composition and eligibility requirements or budget details right now. Having said that, so having said that, as we want to keep you as organisations who took the time to submit any expression of interest, we want to keep you up to date with the latest intelligence. So what we propose to do is join the session. Please put any question that you have in the Microsoft Meetings chat box. What we'll do with that is at the end of the session, we'll answer what we can answer now. For questions that we can't answer now, we'll collect them all together and we will endeavour to provide you with written responses after the session as we get additional information. And that will include telling you the indicative set of hazards per region when that's been finalised internally. That written feedback is, as I said, being provided to you as entities who submitted an expression of interest. So we hope that will be useful to you. Okay, so a little bit of a refresh on how things are structured. So obviously your interest at this point is in the 4 regional pilots on impact-based forecasting services and tools. To inform that, we've been running a scoping study, so that's been undertaken by HKV Deltares, the Netherlands Red Cross and TAMO. and that's been assessing the current landscape of early warning and impact-based forecasting initiatives across Africa. We're just finalising that, but it'll be a key strand and has been a key strand in helping us define the scope of these pilots alongside other information. We've had the call for expression of interest, and that's also been very helpful for understanding the landscape in this context. Two other things to note is that coming up will also be a grant on training and capacity building and a grant on digital tools. So as an indicative timeline for the next step on those impact-based forecasting pilots, we are aiming to launch the call in June and to close it in August. We'll then go through the checks and technical evaluation, enter the grant agreement preparation phase, and finally we are aiming for signature of the grant awards in December. Those dates are obviously subject to official approval and decision processes at ECMWF, but we would really like you to use those as a guide to start preparing yourself for what's coming up, because we're very much aware that there's a block of summer holidays within all that. So we're trying to provide you with as much information to prepare ahead as possible. As I mentioned on the last slide, there will be 2 additional calls for proposals on training and digital tools. We're expecting those to be open towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year. There will be the grant focused on training, so that will look at train the trainer events and fellowships. And there'll be a grant on digital tools, which will be looking at developing solutions to support advice on early warnings in Africa. Right, so onto those bits of useful information. It's a few core requirements that we know now that we can tell you. It's not exhaustive. I'll start off with the consortia composition, and then I'll hand over to Laura, as I said, to talk about that funding. So this has been communicated before, but the regional climate centres have a specified role within each pilot, and they will be co-beneficiaries of the grants. Each consortia, so for the 4 regions, all must include ACMAD as a beneficiary, as well as the region-specific RCCs. So that's AGRIMET for Western Africa, ICPAC for Eastern Africa, SADC CSC for Southern Africa and the Indian Ocean Islands, and CAPSI AC for Central Africa. As consortia, you will need to contact and discuss the application with the relevant RCCs, but please don't do it yet. I've got a slide on a few guidelines later for contacting the RCCs, so please don't do that yet. There will be a minimum budget and a set of activities pre-allocated to the RCCs, and that will be communicated in the call for proposals. In terms of any negotiation beyond that amount and those tasks, we haven't decided how that's going to run yet. So we'll communicate that again in the call. A point to note is the RCCs are not mandated to work with every consortium that approaches them. That relationship needs to be built because we want effective working partnerships in those consortia, and ECMWF can't mediate or facilitate this. Okay, so that's that for me. Laura, are you there? I'll move on to your slide now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so other information on the call that we can share is about the form of costing. It will be a lump sum grant. I think this is reassuring because it's the simplest form of costing at implementation. And when you will be preparing your proposal, you will detail all the personal costs, travel costs, all the costs implied in your proposal. And on the top of this direct cost, you will have this 25% of indirect cost overhead as a flat rate applied to it, and no justification will be required for that amount when you present your estimated budget. And no co-financing will be required. So all the eligible costs that you present during the proposal, if awarded, they will be funded. And so if you have any question on that, we have time later, or you can post it in the chat. Thank you. I'll hand it over to Kathy.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, so for me now, just a quick couple of slides on the expression of interest response. So first, I want to say to you all, thank you for submitting those expressions of interest. I really value the time you took, and to say that you provided a lot of really important information. I've really enjoyed reading about the enormous range of work you've all been doing, and it's really helping understand the landscape of what's going on, and also, it's helping in thinking about how we formulate that scope alongside other information. So genuinely thank you, and it's really useful information. We had 110 total entries. I'm going to come back to this partnership point again. I've got the maps here of the distribution of the expressions of interest, and we've got a really nice distribution of expressions across Europe and Africa. And so I think we're well placed to start building these partnerships. As I've said, we've had really good geographical distribution, but also a really good split between different types of organizations. So you can see in the graphic here that we've an almost equal split between public, private, and academic institutions, as well as intergovernmental and non-profit. So because SEWA was about African-European partnership and working relationships between different types of institutions, this is really encouraging, and I hope it's useful to you in terms of what we're doing as well. We're going to have lightning presentations today from a subset of those who expressed interest, but what I want to say to you is that that's only a fraction of the people who expressed interest. So we sent out the networking spreadsheet. Please, please, please use it. Yeah, I hope that is helpful to you in this process. That's it for me on the EOI. So now I'm going to hand to Wolters, and he's going to tell you a bit more about the weather cloud and data access.
Hi there. So yes, quick slides from my side. The first one covering what we consider infrastructure available for participants, and mainly the focus is on the European Weather Cloud. For those of you maybe less familiar, but just a brief overview. So the European Weather Cloud is a cloud infrastructure. Is jointly operated by ECMWF and EUMETSAT. It has two separate environments. One is on our side and the other on EUMETSAT side. The one meant or described here for US participants is the access to our side, the ECMWF side. And as you can see, the main application or use cases for EWC, especially within this project, is application deployment, developing and running data workflows, and also running your services and exposing them to public. The main benefits or main usefulness coming out of EWC is that the data you can access or want to access from our side, ECMWF side, it's already in the same physical infrastructure. So it's solving a lot of these data transmission questions. The main use cases I already briefly mentioned, but yeah, is to run your applications, including ones for production. Some examples that I've laid down is running potentially AIFS, also forecast in a box, local area models, and potentially also regional models. Even more so, you can host your impact-based forecast tools, various dashboards, and run web services on the EWC. And final point, also worth mentioning, that EWC also has potential to sort of centralize SEWA data in the same place, which would mean that participants could share data between themselves or retrieve data from a centralized perhaps data bucket that could be set up for the participants. To briefly say then on sustainability and privacy, maybe each allocation or tenancy, as we refer to them, basically is an isolated environment within the European Weather Cloud. That means whatever you build there, it is yours, and you control everything about it. You can consider it as a private space. Unlike commercial clouds, this is not built by the usage of data volumes or data machines. It's rather allocation based, depending on what you're building. And then according to that, you would get the allocation for the size and capabilities of the infrastructure. We're saying that the tools and applications that are built within SEWA can still remain accessible inside of EWC even up to 10 years after the project concludes. And even more so, continued operational use is also subject to further agreement with ECMWF and can continue even after that. And one final point, that whatever you build and design, it's worth considering this transferability from the get-go. So you can also migrate your data flows to alternative platforms if you so choose after conclusion. Some worthwhile examples, we've already had successful cases with is the Southeast European multi-hazard early warning system that's also running on EWC and serves as demonstration. Another good example is NordSat, where basically eight European Met services consolidated and replaced their satellite processing to run it basically on EWC. And this can also be considered as a comparable analog for use cases within Africa. For the next slide, please. And then on data side, I also try to keep it short. Main focus is that at ECMWF, we're employing an open data policy, which was expanded also last year. What it means in a nutshell is that the data we offer is free, but we still want our users to be registered with us and basically have a license with us. The second point on free and open data subset, I think this might be very useful for many of you listening. Basically, this is a curated subselection of IFS, IFS ensemble, and AIFS and AIFS ensemble outputs. It is currently at reduced resolution, but this is an evolving data set, and we expect also to align with the native resolution of models during this year. It doesn't have all the parameters that the models produce, but it's a good starting point, and this does not require any license or registration with us. I will briefly mention it a bit later. And then quickly also on the license is expected, at least for participants. So the standard license for non-commercial activity, which is for official duty and aligned with WMO. Several to that for commercial entities. There's also a commercial license. And finally, we also have fee waivers for humanitarian and development contexts. This is to add on whatever license you might have with us. A split then between the data, also just to briefly describe what can be expected and available. So from archive side, ERA 5 land data analysis. This is accessible through Copernicus Data Store, so it's free, but with registration. Alternatively, this can also be retrieved through Mars. In that case, you would need an ECMWF account with us. Very similar story with the atmosphere monitoring service and reanalysis from them. It's also free, and then registering and access through atmospheric data service. On real-time data, this again brings to the point that this is usually handled through license access. If you're interested in the whole catalog, and for SEWA, we expect that these could be standard licenses for non-commercial activity and particularly applicable to Met services and regional climate centers. And the two highlighted bullet points, this is coming back to the free and open data subset. Just to elaborate a bit, this data set is freely available, so no registration. You can access it directly through our FTP, also using native tools that we've built on top of Python, like Open Data Client and EarthKit. Besides that, it might be also interesting to know that this catalog is also mirrored on several commercial clouds. So if your workflows or previous experience is better aligned with AWS, Google, or Microsoft, then these data sets are also mirrored there and accessible directly. Another data set I want to mention is the WMO support data set, until now known as SOF. And this is also a curated data set. This is full resolution data, mostly tailored for local area model initialization. And the access to this one, it goes through WMO accounts that are delegated to National Med Services. So also it could be very useful for participants in SEWA. And then just to add some more flavors on the data, we also offer a seasonal and sub-seasonal forecast. These are also accessible through Climate Data Store, also free, potentially useful for drought, flooding, and heat wave assessments. Another note, that the local area model data outputs already produced by our member states and cooperating states are subject and also could be available to participants, but this would require some further licensing for such contributing organizations, but it is possible. And final point, that any consortium partners who do not fit the NHMS or WMO designation, they could still access the data independently, either via the free and open data set that I was mentioning earlier. You could also do a license with us with applicable fee waivers, depending on their organization type. Next slide, please. And then finally, to briefly also go over the supplementary data, also very much relevant to SEWA. These are several several data sets that we consider. So number one is AMSAF and EUMETSAT data for nowcasting. This one is provided through EUMETSAT scope, so more access details can be handled through them, but very relevant for nowcasting cases. And then on Copernicus side, I've split this into two sections. So the top part is the ones we're taking mostly care of, or they are hosted on our high performance computers. So this is Copernicus Climate Service, Copernicus Atmosphere Service, and the Early Warning Data Store. So these you can access. Also, you can see the QR codes linking directly to those. And still on Copernicus data, but a bit outside of ECMWF, MWF, the landscape is the emergency service, which is useful for flood forecasting. This is JRC led, and we're also contributing there for computational aspects. Also, Copernicus Land Management Service, useful for land and exposure data. Copernicus Marine Environment Service, run by Mercator Ocean, so obviously useful for marine data. And then final mention here is the JRC exposure and vulnerability data, which is also known as the human settlement layers, also relevant for the impact-based forecast applications. Thanks. That's it from my side.
Fantastic. Thanks, Walters. Okay, it's over to Carolyn now to tell us about the scoping study.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Walters. And hi, everyone. Yes, just to give you a brief overview, as Katie already said, one of the first big milestones we did within SEWA was to conduct a scoping study, a quite extensive scoping study that is used, of course, to inform us for the implementation of SEWA, as well as our partners and our members as well. So the scoping study will be available after it has been finished. So just follow the webpage, and we'll make it available thereafter. It is split into 5 different work packages. The work package 1 did quite an extensive assessment of literature and reviewed also existing initiatives, data, and interfaces. In the work package 2, stakeholders were engaged and user requirements were assessed. In the work package 3, there was an independent hazard and impact landscape assessment. In work package 2, a reflection was done on sustainability, ownership, and lessons learned from the past. And in work package 5, an action plan for regional pilots is developed at the moment. The scoping study was done by consortium of HKB, Red Cross, 510, Deltares, and TAMO. And here you can see some of the first results. So this is the so-called dashboard, and this dashboard is the main result of work package 1. You can find it in there. You can find data, projects, and many other information in there. And I just mute. Sorry. So in this, it works as you can see. You click on a country or region or the continent, then a box opens and you can choose which data you're interested in, and then a new window would open with a table where you can access all the information, but also download it. Next slide, please. Another nice feature is that you can assess how many projects are ongoing at the moment. This is all relevant to SEWA, so everything I present is more or less on the impact-based forecasting scale and everything that feeds into it. So here you can see, for instance, the number of projects that are conducted in the countries on droughts and dry spell in the upper left corner, until wildfires and dust in the lower right corner. And this dashboard, as said before, will be available, and it also informs us. It's an important input to the next step when we draft the call for proposals. Next slide, please. Here you can see how the ranking score for the hazards look like. So the darker the color is, the higher the hazard is ranked. But this is also a bit tricky, so it's not straightforward because it has been done according to a ranking score that also implies information about relevance and impact and things like that. So this is assessment that has been done on the basis of many different databases, and also this information will be made available afterwards, and you can also have an assessment which databases were used and how it differs if you choose different databases or different scores for each of the hazards. Next slide, please. And here you can see some photos of the regional workshops that have been done. So there was a workshop in every region, so in Eastern, Central, Western, and Southern Africa, and participants filled in a survey, as well as they participated in discussions in those workshops. Also, other stakeholders were engaged through online interviews later on after those workshops. So, and all those information gathered, they will contribute to our call for proposals, but also to the final so-called action plans that are at the moment in the last stage. Next slide, please. So during the scoping study, the focus was on 7 different hazards. 5 of them, you can see here in the table on the left side, came from the early warning for all priority hazards. And there are 2 space relevant hazards that will be added. As Katie already mentioned, so there will be priority hazards out of this list for each of the regions. They will be selected in the next month. Based on the scoping study, but also, of course, we'll have some more consultation with the key stakeholders. And then in June 2026, we'll launch a final set of the selected hazards in the call for proposals. And of course, then they will all be available to you. Next slide, please. And over to Katie, I think.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I hope that's been useful to everybody. We'll move swiftly on to the talks from the RCCs. I've got one slide before that, but Patrick, I'm just giving you a heads up that the next slide will be over to you. And when you're presenting from the RCCs, there'll be 5 minutes each, and I'll just give you a 1-minute warning from the end. So I mentioned previously that the RCCs will have a mandated role in these grants, but I want to just give a few guidelines for interacting with the RCCs, because we don't want to make an enormous workload for them. So please, firstly, don't contact the RCCs before the call proposals has been issued. In that call, we'll give you a specified point of contact for each RCCs. Please only approach them. We would really prefer it if you only approach the RCCs when you have a viable consortium and a clear project idea. This just avoids them being overwhelmed from lots of different directions. And it would be ideal if only one organisation from each consortium could contact the RCCs, and ideally that would be the consortium lead. Okay, so that's that from me. Patrick, I'm going to switch over to your presentation if you're ready, and if you could turn your camera on, that would be great.
Yes, I am ready.
Thank
you so much, Kitty, for that. Thank you.
Let me just sort that out. Okay,
Thank you.
Patrick, can you see the slides?
Yes, I can see the slides. Thank you so much. I'm here with my colleague, Leon. Leon, kindly, you can say hi before he starts.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is
Hi.
Leon Girazavundakutu. Do you hear me?
Yep, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes. And my name is Leon Girazavundakutu. I'm head of the Welfare Watch and Forecasting Department at the African Center of Meteorological Application for Development, or ACMAD. We are based in Niamey, Niger. And I am working with Dr. Patrick. We are the SEWA focal points at ACMAD. And Patrick will present you an introduction of ACMAD and its role within the SEWA pilot project. So Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Katie, next slide, please. ACMAD at the continental level, of course, we have a vision and a mission. And the vision is to be world-class continental operations center, of course, contributing to the well-being of our people in terms of the climate and weather component. The mission is to act as an African Weather and Climate Watch Center, as well as the Center of Excellence for Application Development. And to fully qualify what ACMAD is to mention that this is a Continental Weather and Climate Watch Center for Africa, as well as an institution of excellence for application in meteorology and also to support the sustainable development. Next slide, please. ACMAD has a key mandate that are listed in 5 as a center of excellence for meteorological applications. The first one being the capacity building on application of meteorology for sustainable social and economic development at the national level, methodologies, tools, and techniques, being able to participate in global climate and weather watch programs, as well as provide training, specialized training to relevant professional and development practitioners in Africa. Lastly, is to provide appropriate research, data, and networking facilities to research programs in Africa. Next slide. It is good then to bring a perspective of how ACMAD works with the rest of the partners. ACMAD works very closely with the regional centers. We have 6 main regional centers in Africa. Let me start with the network RCC, and this is the Regional Climate Center Network for North Africa. We also have agreements that is covering West Africa. PC, AC in Central Africa. We also have ICPAC that covers the IGAD countries, as well as SADC that covers the Southern Africa. And you can be able to see the RCCs in this particular map. We also coordinate with the rest of the world in terms of collaborations and also ensuring that we are able to get the knowledge required really to be able to use some of the application and tools that are being used or developed in other places. Also to mention that ACMAD was designated by the WMO as a regional center since May 2015. And we have been working very closely since then with RCCs, as well as NMHSs, as well as the regional specialized meteorological training centers. Also to mention that ACMAND is a continental multi-hazard advisory center that was inaugurated in October 2022 as part of the institutional infrastructure of the African Union Multi-Hazard Early Warning and Early Warning System, AMEWAS. Next slide, please. Now, in this context then, ACMAND's role in the regional pilot on impact-based forecasting services and tools, ACMAND can majorly act and play a role as a continental liaison and as well as the coordination entity for development of these IBF pilots, supporting and contributing to each of the region consortium. As a beneficiary, then ACMAND can be able to coordinate and collaborate with the partners, align with the requirements for each of the region, also ensure interoperability and harmonization between these, because we understand very clearly that really climate and weather doesn't respect the political boundaries. So we are looking at it in terms of the region. Knowledge sharing and capacity building, which is very key because we also want to develop the internal capacity. Data utilization and technical enhancement, majorly looking at what ECMWF and the Copernicus data and tools are being provided, as well as the internal data sharing and collaboration amongst the partners, including the RCCs, as well as the national METs. And lastly, which is very core, is capacity building, because this is the way to sustain the development of tools that are able to help our people. Next, please.
1 minute, Patrick.
Yes, 4 minutes?
One left.
Okay, thank you. Then we also have on training, really, we do this by organizing with the RTCs, initially identifying the trainer events and being able to support the adoption of these across the regions, as well as also ensuring that there is equal adoption of digital tools across and ensuring that there is no partner that is left behind. Next, please. And that's the last slide. Thank you so much. I think I've met in 5 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks for that really helpful contribution, Patrick. So next we'll hear from Abdu from AgriMet. I'll just swap the slides over. If you could turn your camera on, that would be great. Okay, Abdu, are you there? Okay, we don't seem to have Abdu at the moment. Pascal, are you there? We could move to central to CAPSI and come back. Pascal, you're there. Okay, let me move the slides on and then and we'll do that.
Hello, yeah, Pascal is following. Morning, Caroline.
Hi, Pascal. Can you see your slides okay?
Yes, now we are still on the agreement slide. Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay, so thank you very much for giving me the floor. I'm Pascal Modi from CPC. Background PhD, atmospheric science. I'm meteorologist. So I'm coordinating right now the early warning for all multi-hazard situational room at CPC. Can you move to the next slide, please? Hello, next.
I think I've moved it on. I think we might have a little bit of a lag between us.
Okay, so the Climate Prediction and Application Center for Central Africa is based in Douala, and we are in charge of coordinating activities on the 11 ECAS member states. Now we are in our demonstration phase to be designed as a WMO Regional Climate Center. The center is based in Douala and has been created in May 2015. Mission is operational climate products for disaster risk management, agricultural, health, and water integrated management. So the main mandate of the center is to support the implementation of the country's sectoral policies and strategy to promote regional integration and sustainable development in Central Africa. The mission as international body to support ECAS Commission and then provide service for the public regarding early warning system and application. So the main vision is that we should design as WMO Regional Climate Center and also a specialized regional center for early warning system and product in the region. Next. So as I thought before in the previous slide, so the core functions remain on the data collection and processing, forecasting and climate risk modeling. So what we need to know here is that our aim mission here is to make downscaling the global model so that it should fit the regional trend regarding Central Africa, and based on those downscaling using regional climate to provide climate services and information. And also our main mission is training and capacity building. That is also one requirement for our member state, and the technical assistance and regional coordination regarding early warning products, mainly on impact-based forecasting. So the main competencies that we have in the center is regional forecasting and risk analysis. So we have the risk profile of the ECAS region and early warning system, as well as training and transfer. So co-production and interoperability is one of our competencies that we need to really implement in the region so that all the products that are developed should be co-produced with all the partners and also the end users. So here are some products that are developed in the center that are mainly requesting and fit the purpose of the early warning in the region. Next slide. So in the center, please, we are we are working on a multi-hazard architecture. So this is the workflow that we are using in the center. So we start by collecting data from different sources, mainly from NMHS, estimated satellite data using WAF and WAF hydro model, as well as the C3S data and the ERA5 data. So when those data are collected, we process with the integration and the processing, and all those are mainly used by the forecast calibration that really come and correct the different biases. So in the multi-hazard situation, we are using the impact-based risk analysis that will lead to overlay the hazard and the exposure as well as the vulnerability to the meteorological hazard that are providing. So at the end of the workflow, the aim is to release and disseminate bulletin, set up dashboard, as well as drought report, advisory website, and all those. So those information are shared with decision maker, and what we release, what we expect is to have a feedback so that the product that you are developing in the center should be improved based on the information collected on the ground. Next slide.
1 minute.
Next.
You should have it now. Sorry, did you want me to, is this the one you wanted to? Is that okay, Pascal?
Yeah, the slide is not moving, so I don't know, maybe it is due to internet, I don't know.
Okay, so did you want the forward on application and value change or the key challenges slide?
So I'm still on the architecture, so I'm not seeing that part.
Okay, I think we've got a lag. So I've got the key challenges. Do you want to talk through that?
Yeah, maybe briefly, the key challenges that we have in the center now is the issue of human resources that all of us are aware. So the human technical resources is something that is missing, as well as also some infrastructure regarding, for example, servers, as well as high bandwidth internet connections. So those are mainly the challenges that we are facing in the center, and hopefully we get under the SEWA project, all those issues should be addressed, and we will be willing, happy to work with other members that are attending this meeting so that we could provide reliable information and strengthen the Central Africa region with weather and climate information in the region. So thank you very much for your attention, and sorry for the issue of internet.
Thank you very much, Pascal, and thank you for bearing with us with the slide coordination. Really appreciate that. Okay, so let's go to Hussein. Are you there now from ICPAC?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Hussein Said. I'm the head of climate diagnostic and prediction unit at ICPAC. I coordinate climate monitoring, diagnostic, and also forecasting activities. Next. Yeah, just to give a very brief overview of ICPAC. So ICPAC was established in 1989 as a drought monitoring center. It was established because of this back-to-back droughts happened in the region during that period. Then in 2007, a protocol was established and it was signed by the member states, and it became IGAD Climate Prediction and Application Center. So it became under IGAD. IGAD is an intergovernmental authority on development, which is one of the regional economic blocks of African Union. Then in 2017, ICPAC was designated as a regional climate center for the Eastern Africa region. Then in 2021, we become also we got this an observer status with the United Nations framework on this climate change. Then in 2022, become also a member of this AU NEPAD network of water centers of excellence. Then in 2023, we became a member of this My Climate Risk Regional Hub. Then recently, last month, we became a member of this Santiago network, and so we'll be supporting the member states on this laws and damage issues. So we are covering 11 countries, including 8 IGAD member countries, the one you see on the right with gray color, and 3 non-IGAD member countries. So just basically, we are serving 2 regional economic blocks. One is IGAD, and the other one is the East Africa Community. And last year, we have developed the regional framework for climate services, and it was endorsed by both the 2 regional economic bloc secretary generals, the IGAD and the East Africa Community, and as well as the ministers from the 2 regional economic blocs. And we are serving over 300 million people, and staff-wise, we have over 80 staff, both technical and admin. Next. The key service areas are one is the climate monitoring and the forecasting, which is really the core functions of the institution. And then we have also other disease application areas, including the agriculture and food security. So we provide agro-advisory services, and also based on the climate information, and also with regional partners, we also coordinate this regional food security outlook and also those mitigation strategies. And again, we have also this disaster risk management program, which is also one of the programs of the IGAD. Water resource in the area of this water resource modeling, flood forecasting, both riverine and flash flood, environmental monitoring, and also on longer time scale on this climate change, both on adaptation and mitigation. On cross-cutting areas, we do this co-production. We have this regional climate and sub-regional climate outlook forum that we organize for the main rainfall season with the different stakeholders in the region. And capacity development is also one of the mandate of ICPAC as a regional climate center. And we provide this capacity development activities in different thematic areas. Next. Yeah, on the early warning and this climate services. So we are really trying to provide this seamless early warning information, starting from this short range to this long-term climate information. On shorter time scale, we provide this extreme climate information for the extreme weather and this climate events. So if you look at on the left side, you will see really the main functions of this information. So on shorter time scale is basically for response and relief. And then on the medium term, this is mainly like for preparedness and planning, and on longer time scale for strategic planning. So on shorter time scale, we provide really information on the tracks of the tropical cyclone. This is when the tropical cyclone starts developing over the nearby ocean, over the Indian Ocean, and the Arabian Sea. We develop this. We run the model and provide the tracks, and also extreme rainfall forecast on weekly and also monthly forecast, seasonal forecast, and also on longer time scale, this climate change projection. This one, basically, we don't really run on projections, but we statistically downscale those, the available projection to the region. And also on tailored products, we have this also specific products for the different sectors, including for agriculture, DRM, and other climate sensitive sectors. Next.
1 minute, Hussein.
Okay. Next.
There we go.
Okay. Then we have also developed this really multi-hazard early warning tools for the region. And one of the tools that we have developed in-house is the East Africa Hazard Watch, which is accessible from the ICPAC website. So it's basically a suite of geospatial early warning applications. So all those products that I have mentioned earlier, the weekly forecast, the monthly, the sub-seasonal, seasonal, and also this long-term projection are accessible from there. And then we also developed this specialized tools, including the East Africa Drought Watch in collaboration with GRC. This is for monitoring the drought condition in the region, and also the Agricultural Watch. This is also another special.
Okay, Hussein, we seem to have lost your sound. Can everybody else hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't hear.
Okay, Hussein, do you want to drop out and reconnect? I think I'm not sure how many slides. Okay, that was the last slide, so maybe we can just finish up. I think Hussein had probably got to the Agriculture Watch. I mean, I don't know too much about this, but there's the Forest Watch, Flood Watch, and Pests Watch, and we'll share these slides afterwards. So if Hussein wants to add some notes, we can do that. Okay, so Sunshine, are you there from SADC?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. Okay, so you're up next.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we can move to the next slide to catch up on time. Yeah, so I'll talk into these three functions that we do as a center. One of the major one is the last one there, which is the last function, which is the Regional Climate Outlook Forums, which we organize biannual now. We do it in January and also in August. So, but I'll be detailing mostly what we do as a WMO RCC. We're still in designation. We're not yet designated. We're in the process of trying to get us designated. We can move to the next slide. Yeah, so most of our operations are usually starting from the subseasonal to climate projection stage. But there's this area which I think you have seen in the past two presentations where they are talking about this area of week and even less for some of the colleagues, which is in the meteorological time scale, which as RCCs, according to WMO, we are not supposed to be operating there. But when you talk of IBF, you now have to find yourself in this space where it's weather time scales. But for us, we start from weekly, where we venture there because of subseasonal timescale, and also because of the regional situation, because currently there is nobody within the Met community at regional timescale that is responsible for advising at the REC level, advising on hazards that have got an implication on that may lead to disasters within the region. RSMC only provides guidance. It does not release advisories to member states. It doesn't have that regional responsibility. But according to WMO, it's designated to give guidance to Met services. But for us, we are forced, like you have seen with the presentation from Hussein and also from Pascal. You have seen that they are working at weather timescales because of the requirements from the REC, not because of not understanding the role that they are playing. So this is more of our guidance on how we should operate. But we've got that area which I call area of confusion for RCCs, where we find ourselves in a tough position because of the responsibilities we have given by the REC. We can move to the next slide. Yeah, so for us, I will just be presenting in terms of what we have, what we're doing. So we have climatological information for all the timescales that we monitor. We monitor from 5 days, moving all the way up to seasonal timescale. So as you can see on the left, I've given there, and a sample of some of the images that you find. This is on our website. You can see that. So we are currently working on an MOU as a center with the member states that we cover to deal with the issue of accessing station data from member states, because currently the data that we have is coming from GTS, which is, we know the challenges with GTS. So we're trying to work around that so that we have data coming directly from the member states. So we've got historical, which is the climatology, and then we've got monitoring that we do on a daily basis, in fact, because we compute most of the statistics for GTS data every day, and then we compute from the satellite data that we get, which is mostly CHEPS and ERA5, which is not reanalysis data. We compute at pentatle timescales. We compute all these different products, especially the 27 indices that are guided by the WMO guides. We can move to the next slide. So now moving on to prediction, the long-range forecasting timescale. So under this, we have got subseasonal, which is new. It's not listed in this. We've got a subseasonal timescale by using data from ECMF and some models from the US, which is there. You will see at the end. I'll just show that. So these are some of the products that you find on the website in as far as the generation that we have for single models and also for multi-model ensemble. This is generated from bias-corrected data from the global centers. So you will find it on the website. We can move to the next slide. And then this is the subseasonal timescale forecast that I was talking about earlier on, which is something we started towards the end of last year. So we have this also on the website. It's available if somebody wants to go there and check it out. Yes, it's a product. So we've started also to issue some bulletins around this data set. So we've got this bias corrected, and also we do skill masking. So you can see this product is skill masked. The top one is not masked, but the bottom one is skill masked, where you see there's this tri-signal, but you see some areas they don't have much of a skill for you to talk into that. Fortunately, this one, which is showing heavy precipitation, it does have skill. That's why it's still appearing, but the other areas which are here are not having any skill. So we skill mask our final output. So, but you have access to both the unskilled and the skilled maps in our website. Next slide. And then this is what we now call services that we issue out. This is a monthly bulletin. This is how it appears. You will find it also on the website. We update it monthly. So this one was done in August 2024, just as an example to show you what is available on the website. So there's the narrative against the products that I've just gone through. Next slide. Then we also have a long range bulletin, which is analysis of the past 3 months and analysis of the next coming 3 months, which include also a consensus product, especially if we issue the forecast, the bulletin after the COF either in January or in August. Next slide. Yeah, so this is how our COF product usually look like. We have introduced a hashing, which partners and member states requested that there should be an indication of confidence on the product. So you see the hashing, it's an indication of how confident are we as forecasters on that specific forecast that they've issued. But it does not mean that the forecast is wrong, but it's just showing in terms of how much confidence we have in those specific areas where we've got that indication of a forecast. So from the reanalysis data, we also produce this forecast. We use the reanalysis data to bias correct the global centers data, and we come up with this forecast for temperatures for the region. And next slide.
1 minute, Sunshine.
Yeah, this is my last slide. So in this slide, this is where we do stakeholder consultation. So these are products that are produced after stakeholder consultation, which is usually mostly during the COF process. So this is what we usually produce for the for 4 sectors for now, for TRR, for water and health, and also for agriculture. Next slide. That should be it. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's a really interesting presentation. Can I see if is Abdu there? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here.
Let me find your slides and then we'll go for it. Okay. Please, Abdu, the floor's yours.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for this meeting. And I'm sorry for being in another meeting.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm pleased to present some aspect on West African Climate and Regional Center. The name is Agreement LCC-WAS. Please go to the next slide, where I just want to highlight key aspect of agreement missions. And we can see here why agreement is a bit different from other LCC, because in the same center, we have everything related to climate and hydrology in one big component, and other component is everything related to agriculture, food security. In another component, we have everything related to natural resources management, including water resources management, pastoralism, and all these aspects. So this integrated aspect of agreement make it a bit different from other climate regional centers. And this is where come from the name of agreement, where the agreement acronym come from agriculture, hydrology, and meteorology. Next slide, please. So yes, I think it is very important to understand in terms of achievement at agreement, the status of the data availability, because everything we have to do rely on relevant data. So at agreement, what is important is, since we have been created, we have been collaborating with countries to gather at regional levels a number of ground-based stations, both in terms of meteorology and in terms of hydrology. In addition to that, we are also putting at regional level impact data in the area of agriculture, all the agriculture statistics, impact of flood, drought, and all these things, all this impact and observed data are also collected at regional levels. So these data are complemented by all these satellite receptions from Puma, from now the 3rd generations of Meteosat, and with the RAS antenna, we are collaborating with ACMA to put in place. So all these are data that help agreement to fulfill its mandate in terms of productions of climate service. Next step, please. After the data, that is come to modeling aspect and the tool development for regional levels and for countries. So on this aspect, what exists right now at Agreement is extensive model development, both in the term of meteo, in the area of meteo and climate, and also in the area of impact, hydrology, and agriculture sector. So in the meteorology and climate area, we are right now running operationally the WRF model and the impasse models at Agreement to produce meteorological forecast and sometimes climate scenario. For hydrology, we are running a flood forecasting model, which is called Fanfare, and also another flood forecast, another what we call flash flood forecasting tools, which is called EF5. So these are combined tools and model to provide flood forecasting services. And we are also using agriculture tool, which is the SARA software. So in addition to that, Agreement is extensively use the AI algorithms programming, and also we have a computing capacity through our HPC. Next slide, please. So after the data, the model development, that is come to informations, productions, and disseminations. So right now, where all the informations are available is the Agreement workroom. The information that are available from the Agreement workroom start from, let's say, short-term forecast to seasonal forecast, including sub-seasonal forecast. Right now, we are, as you know, we have two regional aircraft in West Africa. The one is Prejas for Sudano-Sahelian area, and the other one is Prejas for the Gulf of Guinea. So this is two aircraft coordinated by Agreement in West Africa. But in addition to that, we are with the regional models producing intra-seasonal forecast and services. So also this workroom will be connected soon for this in this year to countries by API, so that country can have the raw product on a real-time basis to include in their own services. Next slide, please.
1 minute.
Next slide. Okay, so here, just to quickly Agreement, this is also, I think, another specificity for Agreement, because we are also a regional training center. We are a regional training center accredited by WMO. So we are providing courses at different levels, at different degree levels, high technicians, engineers, and masters. And these courses include key aspects of meteorology. Key aspect of hydrology and key aspect of instrumentation, maintenance, and management. It is very important for a regional center to strengthen the capacity of countries with this kind of training. So this is the last slide of my presentation. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Abdi. Thank you very much to all the RCCs for their presentation. I hope that's been useful for everyone. It certainly has for me. So I'm going to stop sharing and change over to my Lightning Network set of slides. In the meantime, just to say, we can see that there's lots of questions in the chat, and just to reiterate that what we can answer, we will answer, and if we can't answer it, you might not see it come up, but we will provide it afterwards. So yeah, do carry on asking those questions. Okay. Also, just to say, we are running a little bit behind. I really hope that you can all stay with us till the end of these Lightning presentations, because it would be really great if we can give everyone equal opportunity. Very, very quickly, the presentation is largely randomized. Presenters, you'll have 2 minutes. We will be strict, I'm afraid. Volters will be timing, and you'll be given a 15-second warning. Turn your camera on if possible. If you have questions for the presenters, please put them in the chat, and presenters, please answer them in the chat. I'll run the slides and we'll share the slides after the meeting. So Jorg, you've got the pleasure of being up first. So if you're there, off we go. Have we got Jorg from the UN Spider?
Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay, 2 points, please. Can you please show the full slide before I start? Because there are some animations that are time consuming, and I will not switch off my camera because I'm talking with low bandwidth from Kathmandu.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Perfect.
Okay, shall I start?
Please.
Yes, thank you, Kathy, and good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Jörg Szasinski from the UN Spider Bonn office. And in this very short pitch, I would like to introduce a potential consortium for a regional pilot on impact-based forecasting and warning tools for hazardous weather and climate events in Southern Africa, including the Indian Ocean island states. We propose a triple-led consortium bringing together UN Spider, the Center for Remote Sensing of Land Surfaces, and the Climate System Analysis Group at the center of Cape Town University, South Africa. And the strength of this consortium is in the complementarity of our expertise, because together we can translate forecasts into impact-based information that is actionable for decision makers in the humanitarian sector, as well in DRR, water, agriculture, across a wide spectrum of hazards ranging from rapid to slow onset events such as cyclones, floods, or droughts. Our proposed work under SEWA would build on extensive partner network across scales from national to regional and international levels, as displayed by all the logos in this slide here. We foresee close collaboration with entities such as the SADC Secretariat, SADC SHOC, National Met Services and NDMAs, and UN organizations such as UNDRA, OCHA, WFP, IFRC, UNU, and partners working on the integration of indigenous knowledge and traditional governance system alongside gender-responsive approaches. Second slide, please. And this proposal would build on substantial prior work by all the three partners under the early warning and related initiatives on multi-hazard early warning systems and anticipatory action. CSAC would contribute its very strong capacity in forecast development, support to the SADC Climate Service Center, and expertise in impact modeling and translating forecasts and conditions into triggers for anticipatory action. ZFL would provide remote sensing support across the full early warning and risk cycle, and UN Spider, through its global network of regional support offices, would contribute in capacity development, technical advisory support, training and simulation exercises to strengthen member states' preparedness, disaster risk management, and emergency response capacities. And with this, I thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jörg. It's a challenge. Arthur from Weather Impact.
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. My name is Arthur Olderman. I work at Weather Impact. We are consultancy based in the Netherlands. Weather Impact works on weather and climate information services, as well as digital climate advisory services, where we focus on agriculture and smallholder farmers in Africa. We work on anything from starting from forecasts and developing that into products such as extreme weather alerts, agro weather advisory, also climate risk mapping, through digital tools such as SMS, chatbot, web portals, email bulletins. So we have quite a lot of experience in Africa, as this map shows. This is all the different countries where we are or have been working, and we also have a lot of experience in capacity building of national Met offices. And you can see some photos over here. So anything reaching from more technical to more on climate or also co-creation, processes, citizen science. Regarding the SEWA networking, we're not in a consortium yet. We also don't really have a region preference. As you can see, we have experience in all of the regions. What we bring is meteorological expertise, as well as experience in tailored communication to users, also in local languages, capacity building of various stakeholders, extension workers, also and also large project management experience. And this is also why I'm pitching right now, so we can lead or coordinate the formation of a consortia. What we are looking for is a bit more experience in impact-based forecasting, for example, on floods, as well as the development of early warning systems like trigger models. Also local partners, so really partners with feet on the ground, as well as some extra capacity in our own field. Okay, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Arthur. Next, over to Craig from FAO Somalia.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm Craig Van Hagen. I'm from Food and Agriculture Organization, Somalia Water and Land Information Management Service. SWALIM provides operational climate, water, and land information that supports the Somali government and humanitarian partners, especially in the areas of early warning and decision support on a range of things like floods, drought, and water resources. In practice, we run a set of live platforms, for example, borehole and surface water monitoring, agriculture and rangeland analytics, and flood information products. And we translate this data into actionable maps, bulletins, and triggers. Next slide, please. So what we are pitching is a new service we'd like to develop, a 1 to 3 month rainfall and flood outlook. So the core idea is quite simple. We combine the ECMWF hindcast forecast, historical hindcast data, with CHIRP's rainfall history. And what we'd like to bring in is our climate station network to produce future rainfall estimates, a future standardized precipitation, wet or dry outlook, and a potential flood hotspot outlook up to 3 months ahead. We also want to run this as an automated AI-enabled pipeline for quality control, routine production, and uncertainty measures. So it becomes an operational product and not just a one-off analysis. We've actually trialed this in Yemen, and we've seen some encouraging results, but we believe it can be vastly improved in Somalia just because SWALEM has a much richer operational data environment, including a stronger station network and extensive water and flood information layers that can be used for calibration, verification, and impact modeling. So what we're looking for are partners with skills in seasonal forecast calibration and bias correction, blending the satellite data with gauge data and verification and skill scoring, coupling that with hydrology to strengthen the flood mapping and impacts. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Craig. Next up is Catherine from the University of Leeds.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Professor Catherine Birch, representing myself and colleagues from the University of Leeds. We've got a strong track record in previous African forecasting projects, many of them using EU METSAT products. A couple of examples on the slide here. So my colleague, Professor Doug Parker, led a €10 million project called African Swift, which provided a step change in African weather forecasting capability. The timescales of that were now casting to seasonal. And we organised multiple forecasting test beds and pilots, and the hazards studied there were rainfall, flooding, dust and tropical cyclones. A slightly more recent one, Wiser User, provided early warnings for Southern Africa at the now casting timescales, focusing on storms and urban flooding. Following on from those projects, we developed with African Met Services an app for thunderstorm nowcasting called Faster. And then more recently, we've started to embed AI in many of our research projects for forecasting tools in Africa, a project funded by Bill Gates as an example, using AI to downscale for African agriculture. And then one of my own personal priorities is heat waves, and that's a relatively new thing for Leeds, but I'm interested in anything to do with African heat waves. Next slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, our expertise is fairly broad. I mean, we could cover West, East or South Africa across most timescales up to sub-seasonal. Our priority hazards are drought, heat waves and thunderstorms, but also dust and tropical cyclones. We can cover most of the forecasting chain. It's probably the impact prediction where we might like to team up with somebody else. These are the list of the African partners that we've worked with previously. We'd be delighted to work with any of them again, and also any new partners or existing partners outside of Africa. We don't have a consortium in mind yet. I think it depends on the call details, and we'll be happy to respond when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Roberto, are you there? Roberto Chima?
No, actually, my name is Lalo Rossi. I will replace Roberto because he cannot speak. So, okay, Lalo Rossi from Chima Research Foundation. I'm our Warning System Program Director. 160 people. It's a research organization, but very much focused on real-world application and technological transfer, capacity development, and even service 24/7 services. So this slide is to let you know that we are focused, of course, on monitoring and forecasting, being a scientific organization, but we carry a lot of the other pillar to deliver an end-to-end early warning system. So pillar 1, disaster risk knowledge, and pillar 3 as well on communication, pillar 4 on preparedness and response capability. So we cover all the aspects of the early warning system. Next slide, please. Yes, regarding the Africa context, we have been supporting the Africa Multi-Hazard Early Warning and Early Action System for disaster risk reduction that basically aim at connecting the hydromet services and the disaster management authority at different level, continental, regional, and national. But also we run parallel project in each of the region. For example, the Volt alarm system for flood and drought in West Africa. That we also have now a spin-off project in Burkina Faso with a special focus on also heat waves, and we also run this flood forecasting system in ICMAC since 2022, and then there are other application regional centers and southern center. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. Okay, HKV, Doreen, Jerome, or perhaps Marco?
Yes, Marco it is. Thank you very much,
Marco.
Catherine. Hi. HKV, we're a consultancy and research firm, and we work a lot in the field of early warning and flood risk management. Our office is here in the Netherlands, but we're active internationally, and a lot of our projects are done on in Africa. Currently, we have about over 100 employees. Well, as it says here, Doreen and Jérôme, they're working a lot in the early warning and forecasting fields. Maybe the next slide, please. We have not a consortium yet, but currently we are working with Deltares and Red Cross and TAMO in this domain. So we prefer to work together with that consortium. And of course, we are very much open for other participants and companies, institutes to join. I think some examples of what we have done, maybe also following up on a previous presentation, we have worked on a lot of early warning systems on behalf of WMO for urban flooding, for example, in Ghana and Togo, which is part of the Volt alarm system that was developed by SEWA, and currently are working on something similar in Burundi and Ethiopia. And also currently we are finalizing a project with ICPAC on behalf of the World Bank that supports ICPAC experts, but also experts from the region in capacity building on flood forecasting. The region in Africa where we want to work is still to be decided, because I think we are open to work in any of the 4 regions. And if you would like to have some further information, please contact Doreen, Lucht@HKV, or Aas@HKV, or myself. We're happy to discuss that further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marco. Next, Jafet from SMHI.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Jafet Andersson. I work at the Swedish Meteorological and Hydrological Institute. We're the Swedish government agency, the NMHS in Sweden, on meteorology, hydrology, oceanography, and climate. We have many international memberships, and we work on everything from observations, data management, modeling, early warning, 24/7 early warning and forecasting, climate predictions, and planning and infrastructure. We have several collaborations on forecasting and warning in Africa. For example, with Agrimet and the countries, we've been working since 2011 on hydrology and floods. In Southern Africa, we've been working in Zimbabwe on droughts and floods, and also on impact-based early warning system for mining in Zambia. Also worked a number of years with Ethiopia, and recently with ICPAC as well in East Africa, and also in Central Africa recently. Next, please. So SMHI is considering to lead the SEWA consortium in West Africa and Southern Africa, but we're also open to joining other consortia in all areas really. And we're really looking for partners with certain skills in our consortium. One is the mandate on early warning and preparedness and response. 2, we're looking at organizations which can collect and gather impact evidence on fine scales. 3, we're looking at organizations who can do operational production of a meteorological forecast and analysis adapted to African regions. Also, organizations with field surveying, doing river profiles, stakeholder mapping, co-design, and using gender-sensitive methodologies. And we also think it's important with a strong focus on capacity building and knowledge transfer to enhance existing African forecasting and warning systems. Organizations with expertise in European data and speaking Portuguese. So if you want to work with us, please get in touch either to join our consortium or that we can join yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jafet. Okay, have we got Rutger or Confidence next?
Yes, it's me, Rutger Dankers. Good morning, good
wonderful.
afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm standing in for Confidence because he's traveling at the moment. So I'm from Wageningen University and Research, which is a collaboration with the university side and a number of research institutes. And we think we have a lot of relevant expertise. So we have, for example, worked on data products that are available on the climate data store of Copernicus. We have extensive experience in impact modeling, including specific models for crop yield, for drought, for flood management. We do run a number of operational products. For example, within Europe, we are running the operational crop yield forecasting system for the EU, but we also have colleagues working on digital twins of the global water and food system that run operationally using seasonal forecasts. And Confidence himself, he actually has developed a hybrid hydrological model that can also be used for flood forecasting. And then we also have extensive experience with user engagement and training, including for Copernicus using the climate data store, but also with ACMET and ICPAC in the past. And then we have HPC as well, so we have extensive technical infrastructure for computational processing of large data sets, etc., should that be necessary. So if you move to the next slide, please, then what we are looking for is partners that have a strong local presence, that work with vulnerable groups, that have the capacity to translate impact-based forecasting into early action and are involved in, for example, humanitarian responses, disaster risk management, or climate service delivery. We do have quite extensive experience in East Africa and also in West Africa, a little bit less so in Southern and Central Africa, but we are open for working in all the regions, I suppose. So that's it. And please contact Confidence if you're interested.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Rutger. Letitia, are you there?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. So I'm Letizia Lusito, data engineer at Inside Climate Service, ICS. I'm here on behalf of WEMC, World Energy and Meteorology Council, and ICS. WEMC is a non-governmental organization which aim is to connect the climate science and the energy sector worldwide. We indeed enable energy system to work in synergy with weather, climate, and environment, delivering not only climate services and operational added information, but also strengthening the international collaboration, disseminate knowledge, and supporting energy system. Therefore, WEMC has a long-standing history and expertise in turning climate and meteorological expertise into practical services, tools, and partnership for the energy transition. WEMC has also quite some experience in working in African context, bridging the gap between climate science and tools and climate services for stakeholders. Inside Climate Service, a startup based in Italy, is also working in transforming climate data into smart business decisions. We work with a bit more general areas of expertise, for example, agriculture, finance and infrastructure, energy and water. We are also working with WAMC in turning complex data information into actionable insights, and we employ tailored consultancy service and tools such as TIL and WFX to be tailored to clients' needs. For example, energy organizations and also services for the African context. So next slide. We offer weather and climate services and application capacity developments, and we are looking essentially for more local stakeholders and expertise. So please reach me, Alberto or Leila, at these email addresses if you are interested in joining our consortium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Letitia. Valentina from Maximum Information.
Hi, everyone. I'm Valentina Noacco from Maximum Information, a UK startup company working at the intersection of insurance, risk transfer, and anticipatory action. We are evolving catastrophe disaster risk management by building a multi-sector ecosystem that connects catastrophe models with other critical data flows. This enables users to make transparent decisions under uncertainty and supports cost-effective preparedness, response, and recovery protocols for disasters. Next slide, please. Over the past 2 years, we have been evolving an anticipatory risk platform where national agencies, humanitarian actors, brokers, and risk carriers can share data, connect models, monitor risks, and trigger early warning action from global cyclone forecasts. The platform also allows for parametric pricing and innovative risk transfer products, helping to unlock financing before disasters hit and enabling faster and more flexible funding mechanisms. We are currently working with the STAT Network, Meteo Madagascar, and other local stakeholders to pilot the platform for the next cyclone season. At the same time, we are building partnerships across the full disaster risk management chain, including the African Risk Capacity and the World Bank, together with established relationships with model vendors like Verisk, JBA, Fathom, Oasis, and brokers like Aon. There are already some great pilot projects in the disaster anticipatory space across Africa. However, to move insurance-linked anticipatory action beyond the one-off siloed pilots to a more connected global effort, we are proposing a solution that brings together the many initiatives across disaster risk management and financing into a single collaborative ecosystem. We would love to connect with anyone interested in joining forces. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valentina. Alex from INGFI, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Catherine. It's IGNFI. ING is a bank. Unfortunately, IGNFI is not a bank. We are a French-based company working with extensive work history in Africa. We bring technical expertise on mapping, monitoring, and satellite images exploitation. We have an African-wide impact, and we have extensive experience coordinating consortia for projects in African countries that you see on the map on your screen. And we also have extensive experience working with European institutions. We are a service provider for Copernicus. We are a consortium lead for EFIS fire information system project at the European scale. And we are also engaged in multiple ESA projects. Next slide, please. One notable project that we just won is actually one of the EASPP, so European Africa Space Partnership Program by ESA. We are currently in Libreville to pitch this project with ESA and to discuss a bit of how we can start working with ESA on this project. A few projects that we'd like to build upon are the risk atlas in the ECOS region that we realized a few years ago, and the flood mapping in Senegal that covered 29 Senegalese cities to develop flood maps in Senegal. Our approach is based on 3 components. The first is strong data sets that are currently sound and accurate, as close as real as we can be. Local engagement and capacity building, that is also key
I think we've lost your sound, Alex.
Video, is it?
Oh, the video's frozen. I think if Alex isn't going to come back, so they've got a list of the skills that they bring and are looking for here and the partners they're looking for, and there's the contact details for Alex. I'll share the slides afterwards so you'll have all that information. I'm really sorry, Alex, that the video's frozen there. Okay, is Philippe there from Visioterra?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for the invitation. I am Philippe Gisquet from Visioterra. Visioterra is a French SME specializing in Earth observation. We develop monitoring systems called geoservices. These are based on indicators calculated from satellite, weather, and climate data. These geoservices send warnings as soon as the indicators are out of their nominal values or when an event is detected. The geoservices already in operation are focused on agriculture, irrigation, forestry, flooding, and navigability on major rivers. For example, we monitor crop growth and soil moisture in North Africa, the forests in Central and West Africa, the water levels on the Congo River. We can also detect marine pollution from hydrocarbons, deforestation, active fires, or burnt areas, as well as transhumance routes to prevent conflicts between farmers and herders. All of this is made possible by the increasing use of artificial intelligence techniques. As you can see, several partners from West and Central and East Africa have already agreed to work with us on the SEWA action. We will also be able to mobilize partners in Senegal, Egypt, and Ivory Coast. Next slide, please. We are looking for African or European partners who can provide their expertise in modeling the physical phenomena that trigger the events and in assessing their impacts, of course. We are also open to joining a consortium led by a larger company or institution. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward for further discussion. My email address is provided in the networking spreadsheet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philippe. Have we got John from JBA next?
Yes, can you hear me okay, Katie?
Perfect.
Excellent. Hi, I'm John from JBA. We're a multidisciplinary group of scientific risk management firms. JBA Global Resilience coordinates all of our work in the international development and humanitarian sectors, where we've delivered technical assistance in more than 30 countries across Africa. Our services span hazard and risk modeling all the way through to training and capacity building. We design and have designed, tested and operate impact-based flood and drought forecasting systems. We've developed and continue to operate live impact forecasting models in at least 12 countries in Africa. Next slide, please. We've worked across all the regions covered by this grant, and although we're UK headquartered, we regularly deliver projects in Francophone Africa. I'm not going to list all of our projects, but hopefully this slide illustrates the breadth of our experience. We have a number of tried and tested models, data and tools that could support these pilots, including Flood Foresight, which is an impact-based flood forecasting framework, allowing us to integrate global to local flood and rainfall data. So those are supporting emergency management, parametric insurance, and anticipatory action. Our flood hazard data is at 30-meter resolution, available in every country in Africa, which may be helpful to understand exposure to flooding. We have a global risk model, a probabilistic risk model, allowing us to design and set triggers for disaster risk financing or insurance. And we also build bespoke and open source models for easier adoption and building legacy in our projects. So we're looking to either support or lead a consortium, and particularly looking for NHMSs, so National Hydromet Agencies, national societies, or the regional climate centres, so we can strengthen local risk modelling, forecasting capability and capacities. So we've got software teams, data science, hydromet folks, flood modelling teams, so we're well placed to support you in these pilots. So please do get in touch with myself or Matt, whose details are on the slide. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, John. Have I got Harry next from FMI?
I would say yes and no, because my name is Matti Erikäinen and I work as a head of group, and I'm giving this presentation on behalf of my supervisor, Harri Pietarila. So I come from the Finnish Meteorological Institute. We are the governmental meteorological institute of Finland, and basically our expertise covers the full early warnings for all value chain, weather, climate, marine, space, air quality, starting from the observations to modeling, forecasting, and forecast and early warning production. And we have been exporting this know-how and expertise throughout the world and in Africa already for 50 years. So far 25 countries. Currently we are active through bilateral projects with our sister institutes in Ethiopia, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, Mozambique. And we have multiple different MOUs or cooperation agreements, for example, with ICPAC and Meteor Maroc, some to mention. So we are not engaged in any consortium yet, but our interest lies where we are active at the moment. So in East Africa, where we could consider being in a lead role, but we are interested also in other regions as well, where we can consider at least as a member of consortium. And we're also very open to discussions with basically anyone who is interested working with us, either being from private sector, CSO, other NHMSs, African partners, of course, or combination whatsoever. So you can either contact me or Mr. Harri, whose details are shown in there. We can go to the next slide, please. So basically what we can bring into the table is, of course, in the implementation of different projects, we use always our operational expert staff from different fields of operations of FMI.
15 seconds.
We have an open source code, license fee-free solutions for early warning, forecast production to data integration and so on. And we have very extensive project experience and networks around Africa. So I end here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for standing in there. Paloma, are you there?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi, everyone. My name is Paloma Trascasa Castro. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Barcelona Supercomputing Center in Spain. And we are a supercomputing facility and public research consortium. And the Earth Sciences Department has around 250 people specialized in environmental and climate modeling, weather, climate, air quality, and basically trying to support the main societal challenges through data applications. We've been part of different international projects, leading some of them, just a few examples here, the Focus Africa project with decadal predictions, the Aspect project, and also the Destination Earth initiative, and also we've been and are currently working on climate services for agriculture in different regions. And particularly at the Air System Services group, where I am based, we have a multidisciplinary expertise in the co-production of climate services for different sectors, such as the energy, health, and agriculture sector. And especially we have a strong experience in the operationalization of tailored climate services for this sector that we redefine with every new project. Next slide, please. I cannot see the slide moving, but if you see the second one, I can just, perfect, thanks. So this SEWA grant, we are leading a consortium with other 3 partners they're all from East Africa, including the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, the Intergovernmental Authority for Development, and the Kenya Meteorological Department. And we are interested in the co-production of climate services for agriculture in East Africa, especially impact-based forecasting, and especially the interface between climate and crop modeling. So if we are looking for additional stakeholders and maybe partners, so we have a strong consortium, but we are not close yet. And if anyone is interested in this interface between climate and crops, especially medium-range forecasts and value chains for agriculture, please contact me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Paloma. Thijs from Rabo,
Yes,
are you there?
present. Am I audible? Yes.
Lovely. Yep,
Okay,
can hear you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Thijs Res from Rabo Partnerships. I'm a geospatial data analyst and modeler, and I propose solutions all across the financial roadmap, if you will, all the way from geospatial data acquisition to loan origination, and once the loan is disbursed, to loan monitoring, and eventually measuring impact using the same source data. So apart from credit scoring, which is looking more historical analysis, we are mainly dependent on an open source data scope. And because we operate on the interface between providing access to information, so remote sensing data and climatic information, and also access to finance for smaller farmers, and access to market information, we are the perfect overlap of these domains to provide the essential information to our partner banks. Please, next slide. So in collaboration with Wageningen University, which is also present here, thank you very much. We collected or have designed a collectively exhaustive framework to monitor crop characteristics with respect to different dimensions. So with figure, looking at the density of vegetation, vegetative and soil moisture, and also woody biomass, canopy structure, and strain tolerance, stress and disease detection. And these are all statistical ensembles, eventually looking at developing a tool for our partner banks, where we also have a selective pilot engaged in with a partner bank in Ethiopia, Co-op, a very good example. And we aim to make these insights, data-driven insights, especially comprehensible for the average bank employee. So these smaller farmers are definitely a cornerstone of civilization. And in this case, offering these loan officers a very specific ordinal insight into these data-driven insights, we allow a ordinal feedback loop to feed our ordinal regression model to ever more enhance this every loan monitoring model. So thank you very much, and let's move on to the next.
Thank you very much. Gregoire.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so hello everybody. So I'm Grégoire Pigeon. I worked at Météo France International, so which is a different organization from Météo France. So we are, MFI is a private company, so we are related with Météo France because Météo France is our shareholder. And our mission is to run a development project for national meteorological services. So we provide both technical solutions, but also training and change management services to build med service capacities. So in the last 20 years, we worked in more than 100 countries. From the beginning of the early warning for all initiatives, MFI has been active to deliver effective solutions. So we cover all the components of the med services workflow, from observation to services to end users. And we support also the med services to establish procedures with civil protection agency services. So you can move to the next slide. So why SEWA? So we see this call as an opportunity for us to roll out the IBF solution that we developed and for the Indonesian med services, and the BMKG, so the med service in Indonesia, is operating this system since 2024. So on those screenshots, for example, you can see the interface on which the forecasters and the weather consultant can analyze the data and can create the warning services they want to disseminate in different format. So we have no consortium yet, but we are discussing mainly with Météo France, the research center, so a team working on the MISVA platform, and also with ANAM from Burkina Faso, IRD, Red Cross Climate Centers, and we plan to work on heat waves, which is a silent hazard in Africa. And so that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Goha, are you there?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, then let's start. Goha Ghazarian here from Leibniz Center for Agricultural Landscape Research, or ZAL, short, based in Germany, close to Berlin. And I'm here representing TALF and the remote sensing research group that I lead here, where we have quite large expertise in drought monitoring and forecasting, satellite-based drought monitoring at different temporal and spatial scales. We also focus on other risk factors and looking at the analysis both from the perspective of data-driven models and also process-based models. We have also experience with cloud computing and the scalable deployments at different cloud platforms and at different scales. And we have on board, we don't have a full consortium yet, but we have on board organizations that I will talk about, but with their expertise, which is in green, we also have some other risk factors covered, such as wildfire monitoring, coastal erosion mapping, and so on. And area-wise, we have worked already in East Africa on operational drought monitoring and also development of digital twins. Southern Africa focusing on drought and yield modeling and impact assessment of different stressors, and in West Africa on crop mapping and monitoring. Next slide, please. And we have several notable projects and experiences that I want to highlight. One, the ESA-funded National Incubator ADM Kenya project, where we co-developed actually agricultural drought monitoring specific products with Kenyan several actors, and the EU AgriTwin, which is a currently running project where we develop a digital twin, where we use also the platforms such as the Destin-E, where we integrate those aspects. And as I mentioned, we have few organizations on board, Remote Sensing Solutions, who are in the room, ICIPE, but we are open also looking for new partners in the consortium.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Up a bit too fast there. Hussein, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. All yours.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Hossein Najafi. I'm a scientific model developer at UFZ, and I'm contributing to the hydrological modeling team there. So today I'd like to briefly introduce you to open source and transferable systems that we developed over the last 7 years that could be adapted from Europe to the African context. On the top right, you see the 1 kilometer subseasonal soil moisture drought forecasting system that is running on real time, and it's based on calibrated ECMWF forecast. This forecast can be updated every day for the next 2 to 6 weeks, and it can also provide the stream flow forecast. And that's based on the in-house model that we have at UFZ MHM. On the bottom right, you see the other system that we have developed together with our partner institute GFZ. This is the forecast which can be done also as well for Africa. Here you see 5 to 10 meter impact-based early warning system that we have developed for West Germany, and it has shown 17 hours of lead time for the flood forecasting system. So both systems can cover the time scale that the RCCs were referring to for preparedness and as well as recovery and relief. Next slide, please. Yeah. So basically, where systems already exist, we can strengthen them by adding an extra modeling layer for providing the full uncertainty, and where they don't, we can help build fast and scalable systems from 1 to 10 kilometer resolution. Please contact me by email if you want to discuss the possibilities, and we are looking forward to collaborate with everyone. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, I know we're running up to time. I'm really sorry about that, but please, if you can, do stick around. I'd be really grateful for that. Over to William then. William, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the right slide. Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is William Wanyonyi, co-founder of Seven Skies. We are based in Nairobi, Kenya. Our region of interest is Eastern and Central Africa. We specialize in implementing early warning systems. So for the past 8 years, Seven Skies has operated Kenya's drought early warning system for NDMA, and across all 23 arid and semi-arid land counties, supporting a field network of over 200 enumerators collecting household level data every month. So as part of showing capabilities for SEWA, in 2024-2025, under European Commission funding, we upgraded the said early warning system to a multi-hazard early warning system. We introduced predictive analytics, which included machine learning-based child malnutrition forecasting developed with the UC Berkeley. And we also incorporated a flood monitoring component and a remote sensing component. So in terms of the on the institutional side, we have existing technical partnership with NDMA, that is the Drought Management Agency in Kenya, also with Kenya's National Disaster Operations Center, and all 23 subnational county steering groups. So the 200 field enumerators mentioned earlier are the last mile, providing real-time ground truthing where satellite data meets human impact. So we are looking for a European consortium lead who brings the upstream, that is numerical weather prediction, Copernicus data integration, hydrological modeling, and European weather cloud infrastructure. Because we bring the downstream, that is the operational proof that impact-based forecasting works on the ground at scale month after month. So in a likely consortium, we'll need to demonstrate that impact-based forecasting services work on the ground. We already run one, 8 years, 23 counties, and 200 enumerators. So we are the test bed. So our priority hazards are drought and floods. You can check my email there. We look forward to turning European satellite data into African local action. Yeah, thank you. My email is there, will@sevenskies.co.ke.
Thank you very much, Will. Bernardino, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon. I'm Bernardino Nyantum from Mozambique National Institute of Meteorology. I'm a climate researcher. So next slide, please. Yeah, so in Etinam, we have been experiencing a lot of challenge with the approach that we are currently using of speaking what the weather will be. And we have tested in other project impact-based forecasting, and we saw that indeed it can improve a lot of our work. So there have been some pilot projects, but unfortunately we haven't been able to implement impact-based forecasting. But it's so there's any. Can you please mute those that?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Bernardine, I think you are somehow muted, but I can't Oh,
sorry, I think you muted
wonderful.
myself.
You're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, thank you. So we're saying that we are looking for partners that can help us scale up impact-based forecasting, knowing that Mozambique is one of the most vulnerable countries, and we have been impacted by several hazards. So from drought to heavy rains, strong wind, tropical cyclones, even marine storm sites. So please, if you are interested, we are open to partner with you and tackle this challenge that we are facing. It's not just about having like a big experience, but we want also those that are interested. They are also pragmatic to navigate in this environment where there are limits in terms of mandates as well. So we want experience that can tackle this kind of challenge or barriers. Yeah, over.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bearing with us there. Okay, Innocent, are you there?
I'm here.
Fantastic.
Can you hear
It's all
me?
yours. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Emily Jumia from Songwekom, and I'll be presenting on behalf of Innocent. So the Joint Songwe River Basin Commission, also known as the Songwekom, is a transboundary commission that was established between the government of Tanzania and the government of Malawi. Its mandate is to promote socioeconomic development, poverty reduction, and improve livelihood of the communities in the basin. The Songwe River Basin, which is the home of over 400,000 people, is prone to various climate-induced challenges, and the major one being the floods, the frequent floods actually. So in response to this, the Commission developed the flood early warning system to provide forecast and timely warnings to the communities in the basin 72 hours prior to the flooding event. We can say that the system was implemented and it's in existence, but it's not fully functional. The Commission also has a total of 8 automated weather stations and 1 automated hydrological station, which is also not fully functional. So we did an internal assessment and we came up with the following gaps that need to be addressed. The first one is lack of reliable data from the local monitoring stations which are existing in our basin. We have poor integration of existing station data and also data from the national meteorological agencies. That's TMA from Tanzania and DSSMS from Malawi. There, it should be noted that we already have a data sharing agreement that was signed between Malawi, Tanzania, and Songwekom.
15 seconds.
It's just a matter of implementing it. We have limited model calibration, infrastructure issues, and limited technical capacity. So the proposed solutions include adding weather and hydrological stations, integrating local data, and strengthening the capacity of the basin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily. Karina.
Hi, everyone. So AXA Climate is started as the center of expertise for parametric insurance and for the AXA Group, so a big global insurer. And then we've added climate risk consulting and a SaaS platform called Altitude, as well as a training platform. So we're about 150 people based in France. We've got a big team of peril-specific scientists, so hydrologists, remote sensing agronomists, wildfire, seismology, climatologists, landslide, etc., and many others. We've got parametric insurance underwriters in agriculture, forestry, disaster response, public infrastructure, and others. And then we also have kind of dedicated agriculture, nature, and disaster risk finance experts, including forecast-based finance. So on our next slide. So our early warning experience in Africa is really, I mean, I've just highlighted a few, is in Ethiopia. For World Bank, we assessed the feasibility for the government of setting up a forecast-based financing program for flood. And that was based on maybe using GLOFASS, which the Red Cross was using, or flood forecast from SMHI, which is just pitched. In Chad and Burkina Faso, we've been assessing food security indicators such as soil moisture, vegetation, WRSI, etc., modeled on dominant crops to improve the existing IPC approach. And then we've done lots of parametric insurance programs in Africa, so including for humanitarian entities like UNICEF for cyclone risk, WFP for smallholder farmers. We reinsure African risk capacity with their early warning platform ARV. We developed flood insurance for cities in Togo, Senegal, Nigeria, and South Africa. That's using weather station data, so with TAMO, but also flood extent data and overlaying that with population data. And then we've developed a lot of parametric agriculture insurance as well in Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Chad, and for the World Bank in DRC, as well as livestock insurance in the Horn of Africa. And we've got lots of deforestation monitoring tools as well. So our expertise is really on translating remote sensing information, including forecast data, into impact-based payouts backed by contingency plans, etc. And we're really looking, initially we thought we could lead, but I think we'd better place to join an existing consortium in all 4 of the regions. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Karina. Paula, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm Angelo Campanelli, so I will do the presentation on behalf of Paula.
Okay.
From CMCC. So I can start.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm a junior scientist from CMCC. We at CMCC look at climate and weather from different perspectives. So we have our own HPC system infrastructure and we look at climate with modeling activities. So from global, we're involved in the CMIP effort, to regional, we are involved in the several codex community, and not only with the physics-based model, but also with AI or data-driven model. But we look at the climate and weather system not only from a research standpoint, but also to provide information to society, in particular to the economy sector, agriculture, biodiversity, health impact, energy, water management, infrastructure, disaster risk, and also to stakeholders engagement and how to effectively communicate this information to policymakers. Next slide, please. So in the context of Africa, of course, we deal most with climate models, and in particular, as you can see here, Africa is lacking for very high resolution and high quality climate data, for example. And currently we are using our ICON-CLM model to simulate the recent climate of Africa that can outperform some of the Codex climate available, or some of the available climate data over Africa, if you can see here. And of course, these data can be used as a training for emulators and data-driven downscaling applications, but also for hazard calculation for the several extreme events, since we are looking to the entire domain of Africa. And if combined with exposure on vulnerability data, they can provide climate risk information. At the moment, we are looking for a consortium. We are very open, both from climate or research institute partners, but also for regional African centers. So if you want to cooperate with us, feel free to contact Paula or my mail that I will put in the chat.
Thank you very much. We've got 3 presentations left. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Benjamin, are you there? Benjamin from GECL, are you there? No, okay.
Can you hear me?
So,
I'm here.
Yes, we've got you. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So I'm Benjamin. My name is Dare from Goshen. Next slide. Yeah, basically Goshen, we have expertise from trained weather forecasters through climate modelers. We do scientific computing, which I left on the slide, but modeling shows that we do scientific computing. And our main aim is we've worked in universities, we've worked in med services, worked in even ACMAT. The issue is we want to bridge the gap between research and operations. We want to facilitate mainstreaming of project results, and we want to make sure that we use science to address developmental challenges in the region. So basically, we are focused on getting things to work. The SME is about legacy and community of practice. That is our focus. And we are working on our partners. Our region of interest is actually West Africa and Central Africa. There's an omission there, which was my mistake. West Africa and Central Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Francis.
Hi there, thank you very much for the opportunity. So my name is Francis College, and I'm an associate in Weather and Climate Services at Atkins Realis. Atkins Realis is a global design, engineering and project management organization. And today I'm presenting on behalf of our explorative proposed consortium that draws upon our initial understanding of regional needs. That includes ourselves, University of Cape Town, University of Leeds, James Jofferson, and the UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology. We are interested in finding upstream early warning value chain partners that can complement our capabilities in line with the to be identified regional pilots, with open interest in Southern Africa and Indian Ocean Islands and East and West Africa. We are a UK Southern Africa proposed consortium with regional presence in Botswana, South Africa, and CEH has a location in Ghana. And as a consortium, we deliver end-to-end value chain expertise that combines weather and climate services, researchers and consultants, data and machine learning expertise, and stakeholder consultation expertise. We also bring deep sector experience working in water resources, drought and flood management, agriculture, energy, and disaster risk reduction. Our team has a strong track record with African regional centres, national meteorological hydrological services, and national stakeholders working collaboratively in well-recognised regional initiatives such as CLIMSA, WISER, and Confer. So in short, we have proven regional delivery, strong technical innovation, offering practical support and strong programme management skills to help weather and climate information drive better decisions. Next slide, please. So overall, it is very much dependent on what the regional pilots will be identified, but we're looking to draw upon expertise and partners that bring skills in operational forecast production, particularly with machine learning, knowledge around cloud computing and data services in line with the program, and then potential around space tool development applications. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francis. So last but by no means least, Rupert from KNMI.
Thank you, Catherine. Happy to be here, and colleagues. Let me be short because I'm the last one. The basis of our work in the next slide you can see is our peer advisorship of SOF for 4 countries in Africa: Cabo Verde, Uganda, Sao Tome, and Senegal. And I'm very happy that the Dutch government saw the worth of SOF and developed the Water at the Heart of Climate Action program, where better observations can lead to better warnings. It's a 50 million euro project. We're working in cruise and CLIMSA. We are heavily involved in Copernicus and CAMPS as a Dutch Met Office. And our contribution, well, there's a number of issues we could contribute. Are we interested in to work on? But let me take one is the data rescue, because everybody's talking about the reanalysis and ERA 5, but actually for Africa it's quite poorly developed. And if everything is trained on so less data, it can be better. And we made a step change in data rescue through AI, and we want to make the reanalysis for Africa much better, and that's an important opportunity for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, what a brilliant range of presentations. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to everyone who spoke, and thank you. We're still upward of 130 people here, so for staying with us till the end. Questions?